and inspirational in what we have here. This is a fantastic tool which creates duplication for us, which obviously equals success over time as long as we're using it. So we have these trainings to make sure that you know how to use this fantastic tool, to understand the value behind this great tool. And so I want to introduce none other than Ms. Jen, who's part of corporate with RapidFunnel, who's going to share with us how to leverage and use this tool. So Jen, take it away.
Well, thank you, Antoine, and hats off again to you and Don for putting this app together for your team. I think most of you know me, but I've been in the industry for about 33 years. And when I saw this as a tool that I could use, it just made perfect sense to me. So I am going to share my screen and walk you through one little bit here. Hold on one second. Let me just get my screen set up and get started with a slideshow. Because one of the things that is amazing with this resource is the fact that it makes it possible for you to create a very large business efficiently. And I know most people who get started here get started usually on a part-time basis. It doesn't matter whether you're starting part-time or full-time. Being organized, staying organized, making sure you spend your time and energy doing the right thing is hugely important. And there's a lot of stuff out there on the market, tools and things that you can do that kind of look shiny and they look like they would be important or they look like they might be helpful. And here's the thing, I've pretty much tried them all and I found that they didn't grow the business the way this app can grow your business. So that's why I'm here, because I just went through and used a whole bunch of different things and finally found this resource, and your leadership's put together something specific for you with excellent resources inside. But the bottom line with any tool, and this is important, hear me when I say this business is a relationship business. There's no way around that. The challenge is that how do you keep that relationship going when maybe it's not the right time for someone? How do you even get your message heard? That's another challenge. And we'll go through some of these challenges, but in this digital age of cutting through the noise of what's out there, people are watching Instagram, people are watching TikTok, people are watching Reels, they're watching Shorts, there's a whole bunch of stuff out there. How do you get heard? Well, that gets back to it being a relationship business. So breaking through all of that noise is really challenging. I don't know about you, but certainly I have noticed that if I have a conversation with my husband about, we happen to be in New England right now, and we were talking about taking a ferry up to Nova Scotia, and all of a sudden the next day my news feed's filled with all sorts of stuff about Nova Scotia. So, there are these algorithms out there where big companies are paying to have their message get put in front of people that are looking for information. So I'm pretty good when I'm online at discounting that information. But if a friend of mine were to send me a text and say, hey, I want you to check this place out, I heard you're going to Nova Scotia, I'd pay attention to that, right? So it is the relationship that breaks through that noise. It is your relationship with your contacts that allows you to get your message heard. And that's really important. The other dynamic that's challenging is it's very hard. Anyone can sort of say, okay, I'm going to just blast 100 people and I'm just going to go get a list and I'm going to just talk to a whole bunch of people. Well, again, when you do that, how do you get heard? So you might be able to up the quantity, but upping the quality of your interaction with someone and getting your text opened or getting your video opened or getting your Zoom invite RSVP'd to and having someone show up, those are real challenges. They're worth good money for your company. And one of the reasons your company pays you so well is because they understand that ability to be heard and get the message through is huge. And then the other dynamic that happens, especially when you're dealing with like the digital age stuff, how do you know if someone's really interested? Unless someone calls you back or texts you back and say, hey, this looks amazing, I want to go. How do you tell? And so we've got a solution to some of these for you right on your phone. What's really cool is that you never leave home without your phone, right? You've already got your phone with you. Remember, though, if the relationship is the driver for this business, this tool, your Advancement Navigator app, is essentially something that is making you more efficient, but it's not going to replace developing that relationship. So our number one goal is to make it so that you can be in contact with a lot of different people and do that efficiently, do that in a way that works, particularly for the part-timer, but do that in a way that you don't forget people, you don't forget stuff, and I'll show you some of that in a minute. And it allows you to have people in the pipeline, so to speak, at different places, depending on where they're at and what they're really ready and willing and able to do at this particular moment, and not lose track with that. But the goal is always to get off of the digital and connect with them in person so that you can have that conversation and find out, why are they interested? What is going on in their life that has them either looking at your product or your business model because they're wanting something else? Your job is to find that out. And if you're feeling like you're relatively new, I don't think I'm speaking out of turn here to say, believe me, there's someone who mentors you in this business, that if you don't feel you can have that conversation with your contact, someone who mentors you on your team can have that conversation. But the point is, you want to have the conversation. You don't want to just stay in that digital space of, just sending video links or just sending text messages or Zoom invites. You want to have the conversation. Because honestly, if all digital worked, if it wasn't relationship based, the company wouldn't need us, right? They could just go out and market and do their thing, and they really wouldn't need us. So it is that personal connection that is huge. The other aspect of the app that is very powerful in terms of you building a massive organization is it's simple. If you take a look, and I'll walk through this in just a second when I open the app, but it's all 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. If you want to share the product, there's a step 1, there's a step 2, there's a step 3. If you want to share the income option with someone, step 1, step 2, step 3. Almost everybody new that's joining you, or that you're sharing the app with and saying, hey, you might want to take a look at what we do, they understand step 1 comes before step 2, and step 2 comes before step 3. So it really helps to have it be simplified. And I know, Antoine, you had shared with me a while back, and I'll just share with you that I have had people look at the app, and the fact that it exists, they realized, I can do this business. I can do this because it's on my phone, and I can see how I can do this in the stolen moments and the part-time that I have, and I can grow an empire, and I can start part-time. So having the tool is huge, but you do want to get them off of the digital and into a conversation. And the way that we transition, every team is a little different, but it's usually a pretty straightforward conversation of, would you join me for coffee? Can I show you what I do? And they'll have some other conversation back at you, but it might be, I know how you feel. I felt the same way. And then I found this situation, and I realized I could accomplish, and tie it back to what they've shared with you that they'd like to accomplish, or tie it back to what you've already accomplished and show them this is possible. So you really want to be focused on having that conversation, getting them into a 3-way, getting them to a virtual or an in-person event, meeting them for coffee, just somehow connecting so that that relationship can get developed, and you can see what they're looking at accomplishing, so that you can then find out, is what you do going to be a solution for them? And it's always no, unless you ask. I think that's the thing. Find that 1 minute of courage where you just ask the question, and you'd be surprised at how many people will say, sure, I'll connect, I'll show you. So I'm going to turn on the app in just a second and show you just a couple of things, but your challenge, and I know Dawn's got a workshop planned for you when I wrap up here, but basically you want to search through your prospects, either 5-star, new to old, most recent, hot prospects, and I'll spend a minute here on the app and show you how to find them. And I want you to find your 3 hottest prospects and follow up with them. They're hot for a reason. The algorithm within the app is going to tell you they've either just opened something or they've just replied to something that you've done. and you want to take that opportunity and see what's going on and know, hey, I need to follow up with this person. So let me just share my screen one more time because I want to take you to your app. And I just want to show you a couple of things. I'm assuming you can see this. Zoom is telling me that we can share the app. So I'm going to go with the fact that you can see this. So it is really important. I know I've talked about this in other trainings in the past. It is really important that you take the time to sort out your contacts so that you can follow up. And so when you go, if you are, I'm going to repeat just a couple of things because I think it's really important for the new people to repeat. When you want to bring a new contact in, you're always going to go through the same process. You want to come down here to contacts and check and see if you think if someone's in there. They may not be in there. If you know that someone's not in your contact and you're going to add them right away, you would click on this plus button right down here, which is the silhouette, and that's what you click on to then bring up this screen here. There are a couple of ways to bring contacts in. If you want to bring a group of contacts in, a minimum of 5 at a time, you would do that by clicking the wizard right here. Or the way that I tend to do it at this point, because I've been bringing contacts into my app for a while, is I tend to use this import button. And here's the magical part. When you click on that import, your contacts in your phone opens up. So all you have to do is put in, I'm just going to put my name in here. Second. And you'll see that it brings up my contact. Now, I happen to know that I've brought myself in already, but if you've got someone that is not already in, you simply click on this button right here, and it changes the color. Now it's going to tell me this contact already exists, so I'm not going to say yes because I don't want to duplicate it. But when you click on that, almost immediately up here, it will say import, and you would just click on that import, and you would have someone come in. So let me go back to contacts for you and just show you when I go in. I'm going to discard changes. We don't need that. If I want to get to that contact, I'm right here. And there are a lot of things that you can do. And this is so powerful because down the road, as you're trying to remember who people are, what they were interested in, what they did, what they haven't done, down the road, you have the ability to label and sort people. And that just makes life so much easier. So when you bring a contact in, take the time. There's a little edit button right here with labels. If you click on the edit button, my phone is just going to be slow. You've got a lot of different options that you can edit, and then you can add new. So let's say you do an event and you've met 25 people at that event and you want to remember that you met those people. You would just click new and create a title for that event. And then when you brought those names in, or if you already brought them in at the event, you would just go back into them and you would find this button right here, labels. You would edit, you would click on that, and you would give them a label, because then you can sort your contacts by label, which is huge. Now, if you want to, when you're here working in all of your contacts, there are 2 key things up here that are very, very helpful in terms of what are you going to do for your follow-up? How are you going to stay in touch with people? I don't know. I'm sure you guys probably, I know you have events and you probably have campaigns, and these labels and this ability to sort is super helpful for different things like that. So for example, if you click on this right here, these 3 dots, that allows you to sort. My phone just, sorry, the mirroring is just real slow with this. You can sort, if you take a look, you can sort by alphabetical. So if you want to look at someone up by name, you can sort new to old. So who's the most recent? You can sort old to new. You can sort based on follow-up. You can sort based on who's in what campaign. You've got some amazing campaigns for them, and we'll spend a minute on that. You can sort by star rating. And the star rating is a combination of how you rate them, but also how the app rates them. Did they interact? Did they respond to something that you've sent them? And then also their score, because the app is going to give them a number based on your star rating and how much they've interacted with you, and then most recent, which is most recent activity and who went in most recent in terms of what you were doing with them. So there's a lot of different ways to sort, but then when you put labels on someone, this funnel right here is a way that you can sort, and you can filter by label or you can filter by status. And those two filters, they just help you get control of your database, and your database is your business. If you think about the most potentially successful person that you would like to have on your team, I will put money on the fact that you want them because they are successful. They're a person with a lot of influence. They've got a big contact base that they could reach out to a lot of people really quickly, and they'd have credibility with those people if they reached out to them. So understand that your database is huge for your business. So take care of it. Take the time, and the app really lets you sort it and really lets you use it and keep it organized. Because, for example, I'm just going to go back to my contact card. I'm clicking on the wrong thing. If I click on my contact, let's just say I wanted to invite myself to one of your events or invite this person to an event. I would click on invite event. And you've got your calendar is all filled out. And if I wanted to invite myself or invite this contact to this event, I can just click on that event, and I don't know that it will pop it up because we're actually beyond the time. So it might not do that. So let me find one next week. You've got a live Zoom. And as soon as I click on that event, I have the choice with this contact of either texting, emailing, or social media, social networking with that person in terms of, do I know them on Facebook Messenger? Do I know them on Instagram? Where do I know them? And if I were to click on that button, it would pull up, and this is an iPhone, so an iPhone looks a little different than an Android. And an iPhone, all of your apps are here laterally, so I could connect with the person on Voxer, with Gmail, with Slack. They're all listed right here. My point being that when you label them, and when you get them in groups, that's one way that you can stay organized with your app, with your prospects and your contacts in terms of filling events, inviting for events in particular. You've got some great events, but if you don't remember people and you don't remember what they were interested in, it's hard to keep that organized. And you can be spinning your wheels a little bit in this business in terms of not taking the next step that would be the most appropriate next step, because you can't find the person. So do take the time to go in and sort people and give them a label. And the other thing too, I'll just spend a minute since we're talking about this. If you go on contacts, it is really worthwhile to come in here under notes and write notes. I don't know about you, but I don't happen to have a note on myself, but I tend to have sort of conversations with people where I'll suddenly realize, okay, I remember that, well, Antoine just shared, his son had applied to Baylor, and the little pieces of information. He's coming over to visit. There's stuff that if you can keep these notes, a couple of things happen when you do that. First of all, let's just say you send that person, and I'm going to go back and do that again because I want to show you one more time how to share a resource. But let's just say you share a resource with someone and they look at it 3 weeks later. You get a notification that Mary Jones just opened your link and just took a look at your video, and she watched the whole thing. And it's been 3 weeks, and you've talked to a couple of hundred other people in the meantime, and you don't remember who she is. If you wrote down good notes right here, you'd be able to go and look and see the app is telling you this person is looking at what you've sent. You can click on her, you can realize, oh, that's right, we met at the car wash, we had this great conversation, she seems super interested. And then you remember, so when you're following up, you're not following up in the dark, you're following up and you really have a sense of what's going on with your follow-up. So I want to just show you one more key thing, just as a reminder. The best way to send a resource is when you are right here in this person's card file, you click send resources. And that way, when you go here, let's just say you're going to send a survey. And if I click on that, a couple of things happen. First of all of the options for how to send it pop up here. So depending on how you're communicating, you will have those options. But because I sent the resource from within my contact file, it will be tracked. I'll get a message, and I'll get a message that says your contact opened your link, your contact watched X percentage. You'll be able to see in the app how much of a video the person watched, or in this case, I'm here on surveys. Here's what's really cool. When they answer the survey questions automatically go into the notes on that person. So you see all their answers. So then when you're following up, you can say, hey, Mary, I just got a notification to took our survey. Thanks so much for taking the survey. And I see that you'd like to make $1,000 a month. Were you serious about that? We should chat, because I can show you how to do that, but let's just have a conversation. So you have some information with the person. You can have an intelligent conversation. You're not just guessing where they're coming from. So with that, I'm going to wrap up my part of the demo, and I can hang around, Dawn, for about 10 minutes or so and answer some questions if that would be helpful, and take it from there.
Fantastic. Well, I know that everyone is getting so much value from your training. It is incredible. So thank you so much. And Antoine, would you like to fire everyone up at this time? Sorry about that.
Now my head. Here we go.
I was trading out my headset. All right.
That's
so you
okay.
want to, do you?
Well, I'm happy to. I've got about another 10 minutes where I can be here. So if anyone has any questions, or if they want anything in particular to be demoed, I am happy to do that. If they do not have any questions, no worries, but I would, I'd be happy to answer them if they do. So if anyone has questions and want to raise their hand, I guess put in the app, first of all, because I probably should be able to see this, but put in the app, how many of you put in a 1 if you are sending out a message to someone, inviting them every day? Let's see who's actually sending out invites. Anyone using this on a daily basis? There we go. Okay, Sandy, you haven't. All right. So Sandy, because you're generous and you answered, I know that you had put in last week that you were going to try and do a certain number of contacts every day. So how are you using the app? I'd love to hear, maybe you can write in the comment how often you've sent out stuff and how you're using it. No, don't be embarrassed. Oh my goodness. She just said she didn't get it done and she's embarrassed. No, that's not what this is about. This is about figuring out, this is technology. Here, I am not a tech person, okay? Which is very ironic. People find it quite funny that I am working with a tech company right now with RapidFunnel, because I am not a tech person. But here's what I know. Adoption of a new technology is one of the hardest parts. And that's why I'm here every week, because my role, as I see it, is to really get beyond whatever the bumps are so that you can implement it. Because it's, once you get comfortable with implementing it, you'll realize you got your phone with you all the time. No one leaves home without their phone. And once you get quick at being able to reach out and just say, hey, I thought of you. I'd love to share with you what I'm doing. You guys have some great invites, but there is going to be that hurdle with anything new in terms of making it part of your routine. And I don't know how you guys all train, so this might be a little bit outside of the box, but in my philosophy is touch your business every day. And whatever that looks like, but when you touch your business every day, make sure it's something that's a high paying activity. Make sure it's something that counts, because it's really easy to organize the desk and it's really easy to go through your contacts and kind of get all the stars done and all of that other stuff. But what your company's paying you for is to tell the story. That's what they need you to do. They need you to go out there and get the message out. And so if you can just get in the habit of touching your business every day and making sure, pick a number, 1 a day is outstanding. When I first got started in this industry, the person that mentored me said 2 a day to 100K. That's what they said. If you can show and invite 2 people a day to take a look at what you do, but you do it every day, and you do it every day for about a year, you will end up on a trajectory to be at a 6-figure income. And I'm sure that Don and Antoine have probably got similar people that have mentored them that have shared that kind of experience. So I'm looking at Dennis, you sent out 50 peak interests who responded to an ad a few months ago. Well, cool. That's awesome, Dennis. So how many of those then have you moved along in the pipeline? Because remember, the next step, follow-up, you've another expression that's been just sort of thrown out there a lot in our industry is the fortunes in the follow-up. And until I had this app, I didn't have a strategy for follow-up, but you guys have an incredible thing. I'm just going to share my screen one more time because I know that we'll talk about this in another training, but it's really important that you see this and you're aware of this, because as a tool, this is huge. When you put a contact in, one of the things that you're going to be asked is assign a campaign. And I'm just going to digress a little bit because this solves that. If you had a lot of people respond to an ad, how do you keep them in the loop? And if you had 50 people, Dennis, that's outstanding. But how do you keep them in the loop at all their various stages? One person might be ready to go now, and another person might not be ready for a month, and another person might need to see a little more information. It's like herding cats. It's a little challenging figuring out what everyone wants. This is a very people business, and everybody's at a different place. And so how do you sort that out? Here's the secret weapon. You sort that out with campaigns. That is the solution. So you guys have, if I were to assign a campaign, and I won't assign it right now because I think I can just show it to you. If I go to, let me just see where I can show that. I know where to find it on the, here we go. So let me just show you where I found that, first of all, so that you can see what these are. Because first of all, your leadership has invested a lot in these. They've put some great thought behind them. They are constantly adding to them and making them better and better. But if you come to the home page and you click on campaign, you have one campaign in here, and it is brilliant. And it is designed so that when you have someone who has raised their hand and said, I'm interested, but they're not quite ready to make a decision yet, you can put them into this. Let me see if I can find it. I'll just start. The first email is just an opt-in. It's just great to connect with you. Just click here, and then I won't end up in your spam folder, basically. If you click on the second email, I'd share this article with you about gold coins with my connections. It shows a massive amount of potential for precious metals as a business and a wealth building tool. And then there's a link to a great article. If you go back, if you look at all of these, I hope things are good. I thought I'd share this article with you about a few connections. There's another link there. If you go there, these are not sales emails. They're not pitchy. They're just designed to be educational. But what they do is they do a couple of really cool things. Remember, if I was talking a minute ago about making sure you write notes on people so that you remember, if you put someone into one of these email campaigns, odds are it's the right person for your business. It's just not the right timing for them. They're taking care of their mother, or they're getting kids ready for school, or there's a million reasons why it's not the right time. But they raised their hand initially, so that they have an interest. So it's a question of staying in touch with them with the flow. And you've got this beautiful email campaign that will educate them about what you do. And I always say, if they knew what you knew, they'd be making the decision to do what you're doing, right? This email campaign is one way of supporting them in knowing what you know. It's one way of giving you a moment where piece by piece you can share information. So you put them in this email campaign, and maybe it's day 125 where, for whatever reason, they open your email, they read it, and this speaks to them. They click on it. First of all, the app is going to tell you that they clicked on it, and you're 125 days out from where you talk to them. You don't remember who they are, but you see that they clicked on it. And then because they liked that article, they're going to go back in their email And they're going to go, well, what else did she send me? Or what else did he send me? And they're going to click on this one and they're going to read that article. And you're going to suddenly get all these clicks from someone because the timing is right. They're ready to take a look. So if you have good notes, you'll be able to remember who they were, how you met them, what your conversation was, and pieces of information about them that are important for you to have a good follow-up conversation. But
Hey, Jen, can you
yeah,
click on number 15 and actually open the PDF? Scroll to the very
absolutely.
bottom,
I
because
sure can.
these are generic articles, but we typically add a little banner at the very bottom. Now, this one is about Costco's hottest product is no longer chicken rotisserie chicken. And so it just talks about how much they're selling each month and etc. And
Sorry,
then,
my phone's just super slow unloading, so don't mind
okay,
me.
that's okay. That's why I'm stalling. So, and then you scroll down to the very bottom and there's a banner that says, "We beat Costco's prices." And
Right.
so it's just subtle advertising. We're not there just to talk about at cost metals. We're there to show them. Here we go. Scroll to the bottom of the article and you'll see there's a little banner ad.
By the
And
way,
so, yeah.
so
So
you'll
it's just enough. So sorry, I just wanted them to
it's
see that.
exciting. No, it's really exciting. And the thing is that when you have just this little piece that you're staying connected with them, it's not, this is good information that I find it fascinating. And so when you can be sharing that information with people, it sets you up as someone that's a good resource for them. It puts you in a position where you don't have to be the authority and know everything, but you're a person who knows more than they know. You're a resource for them and you're supplying them with educational information that's putting them in a better, stronger position. And that is not lost on people. People appreciate it when someone does something that's very helpful for them and helps them set themselves up for success. That's huge in this day and age. So, don't ever underestimate the power of just being a good resource for people, because that's again, this gets back to the relationship. And when you become the go-to person for information on precious metals, on gold, on silver, on wealth building, you know what? When they have a question, they're going to ask you, when they're finally ready to take a look at doing something about it, you're the person that they're going to ask. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen for now. Let me just see if I have.
And I just put that in the chat. We would love to hear your feedback. So Jan is going to be from RapidFunnel. So she's given us all the latest and greatest, all the great training from RapidFunnel. And then Antoine and I are actually, well, I'm building it out. Antoine and I are moving the app forward to make sure the content is relevant and that the most popular things that are really making people move to action are in our resource library. So, of course, we are still in soft launch. So we are in our infant stages. And so, excuse me, if there is something that you have seen that has been effective in another company that we don't currently have, definitely reach out to me on Telegram and say, hey, I think it'd be cool if we have this. I think it'd be cool if we have this. Let us know. Now, we might not be able to implement it immediately, but at least it's like, wow, that's something that we need to add, And so just wanted to share that with you.
Absolutely. Awesome.
I know we're over your time. Thank you so much, Jen. I mean, every week you bring such fantastic information to get everyone so fired up and help us to understand all the plethora of features that this AdvNav app has for all of us, just to stay, excited. And it's so true. Even if technology is not your strength, it doesn't matter. This is a very user-friendly app.
And I'll just repeat what Antoine said early on when I first started doing your trainings for you. You can't break the app. You can't break it. Put yourself in there. Just have a goal for yourself of first thing in the morning, before you look at the news, before you do anything else, make yourself do one invite. That's what I would recommend as a way to break that. There's going to be resistance learning new technology. There's going to be resistance creating a new habit. That's just the nature of human beings. We like our routine regardless of what it is. So I would encourage you between now and next week, put in the chat, just put a 7 if between now and next week you're going to send out 7 invites, 1 a day between now and next Friday. Let me see if you're going to do it. I want you to really try it, even if it's to your uncle and your brother and your cousin or whatever. There we go. All right, guys. That's what I like to
Okay,
see.
we're gonna do 3 right now. That's
awesome. There we
I'm gonna
go.
move
So
us
you'll
into our work session right now.
You're
So-
awesome. Awesome, guys. We'll have a fabulous week. I'm excited that you're jumping in. Get comfortable with it. That's step 1. And enjoy it. It's really quite the resource.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much,
so
Jen.
much. Oh,
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Take care, guys.
Antoine, did you want to have any final thoughts? Not
No,
final
you go
thoughts.
right
but-
ahead. Go
Okay,
right
okay,
ahead,
that's
Don.
what I thought. Okay, I know Antoine's in the middle of a very important project. So, okay, so I just wanted to go through a few things that are new on the app, and as well, just to get you to right now open up your app and let's move on 3 follow-ups. So here's what we want to do first. I want to show you a few things. I'm going to bring us down to the More button on the bottom right, and we are going to go into your settings. We have a very important one here. Now, this referral code is supposed to be non-existent. This is a corporate code, join. So that's why it's listed here, because we're not promoting anybody's website. So you need to make sure that your referral code for @Metals is in here. Otherwise, when they click on the join page, on any of the buttons that say join, it's not going to integrate with the @Metals website. So that is like the one of the first things you want to do when you're setting up your app is do that. Now make sure it is, as you see, it is just the actual referral code, the word or the number that you chose. It is not the URL. So just if you have put in the URL, go in, edit it, and remove the HTTP, www. etc. and just put in the word. Here's what's new. We have this rank. There's 3 ranks in @Metals plus the membership. When you join, you are a member. So if you have not ranked up to affiliate, then you are a member. So just type up, an affiliate is enrolling 1 person on the left, 1 person on the right. So if you haven't achieved that goal yet, then you start off as a member. So just type in member there. And what's going to happen, let me show you. We're going to have this added to our business card and as well to the bottom footer on the website. Oh, there is a lag today. It could be my internet. I know she was having a lag too. All right, well, let's just go straight into my business card then. It'll show what we're working on is it'll show like right under the name what your rank is. So if you are @Metals, silver rank, gold rank, affiliate rank, or a member, it's going to show it right there. And then as well, let's just go ahead and click on this price comparison. This, if you have not seen this, this is so good. Ricardo, oh. All right, well, I'm waiting for this to come up. Ricardo and Mike did a fantastic price comparison. And when we talk about following up with people, you have already sent them something. You've already sent them one of the peak things. You probably sent them one of these 7 starters to choose from. So let's say that you sent them this one that's this animated short 2-minute explainer. Let me just show you really quickly. At the bottom here is where we're going to be adding the rank as well. So it'll say Joe Pro and then independent @Metals, member, affiliate, gold affiliate, silver affiliate, etc. So we'll get that all programmed for you. But if you've sent this out and now you'll know when you sent this out, let me click this one more time. I want to share just a few things with you. First of all, with our leaderboard, everyone must watch something or complete something, but they must watch the video for 50% for it to be added to your numbers for the leaderboard. So what a great way to say, hey, I'm going to send this video to you. It's 10 minutes long. It's 3 minutes long, whatever. So many times people will just watch like 20 seconds of something and then just get distracted. Hold them to it. Ask them, I need you to watch at least, just add some 75% of this to help me out on the leaderboard. If you want to say something like that, guess what's going to happen? As they're watching it, they're going to find it very interesting and they'll end up watching the whole thing. So make sure you say, watch it to the end. I won't get credit if you don't watch it to the end. You know, watch at least 80% of it, but in reality, it's 50%. So when they just click a link, you're not getting anything. They actually have to do it. They have to take the action for it to go from exposure to engagement. And this is where I was talking about the join now. If your referral code in your profile is not added, then when they click join now, it's going to bring up an error. So now the reason how I know that this is programmed properly is because there's no error. This is your referral code. So whatever your referral code is, obviously it's not going to be join. Whatever your referral code is, it'll be right here. And I know there's always a lot of confusion on this. We'll probably get this reworded at some point. But when someone goes to sign up, this is where they put the referral code they want. And then they click test to see if it's available. So a lot of times people are putting in your referral code here. I had someone this week put in the enrollment code of ACM and then put in their referral code here. And they got really confused and they ended up signing up under the wrong person. And so we just want to make sure that you understand when you go to At Cost Metals and you're walking through a new person, double check to make sure that you're sending them the code, the right referral link, or going from RapidFunnel, the AdvNav app, and then making sure that this here, I would actually take a screenshot and make sure that they understand this is where they put in what they want. And we are so small, you don't have to add numbers. So if your name is Antoine, you don't have to, automatically add Antoine 66. All you have to do is, let's see if Antoine's available. Even if it's a common name like Jane or Bob or something like that, there's a good chance that it's still available. And so when it comes to referral codes or domain names, you always want the short and sweet. So just always try it without numbers, unless the number is part of your brand or it has significance for you. So going back again to this is one of your landing pages. If you haven't seen it, they're great. And like we said, you cannot break it. If you filled out your social media stuff, you're going to see it here. If you didn't, it won't. So that's all up to you. Okay, so now I will open it up for questions as soon as I'm done. So go ahead and write your questions on a piece of paper or put them in the chat, and then I'll come back to them shortly. From the homepage, this is where we're seeing our engagements compared to exposures. These numbers should be close. If you're doing it right, you want these numbers as close as possible. That means that the things that you're sending out the people are actually engaging. So in the case, Dennis, it was Dennis. Dennis placed an ad. He got a whole bunch of people that responded to it. And now it's time for follow-up. So what does he do? He's going to go down He sent out some things. He's going to go down, and I like to sort this. Oh gosh, it's the way. I like to sort it by new to old. And let me go down to Jane Doe. Let's assume Jane Doe is someone I want to follow up with. So I make sure if you click on the contact first, then when I click on send resource, it's going to generate a trackable, unique link. So click on that. And now we want to drill down. So again, you started with something here. Maybe you started with this animated one. You could follow up with any of these other ones if you wanted. I mean, there's, you know, you don't have to skip to the follow-up. Maybe, I mean, this is one of my favorite ones, the anchor. I think that's extremely dramatic. This one is my new favorite. Why Silver Will Make You a Millionaire. If you haven't watched it, you just click on the play to watch it, but it's industry experts that are explaining how it's been suppressed and manipulated and how at some point the Ponzi scheme is going to not work anymore and silver is going to shoot to the moon. That's what they speculate. And so you can send them something like that. But I want you to think of 3 people going through your contact list to follow up with. Here's some more ideas. If they are interested in the affiliate program, consider setting them the compensation plan. If they haven't seen this end of the road documentary, this is very compelling to help people move to action to understand why they not need to start swapping out their dollars for gold and silver. And under pricing is where we have the price comparison I was just talking to you about. Fantastic. Very, very compelling. And this is your very own product pricing page that is tied in and integrated with the @Cosmetal store. It shows up in real time. Forgive me for saying this, but until our look and feel is done on the main website, this blows the main website away. Look how beautiful this is in comparison. Now, a lot of times people will say, I don't see the pricing. If you are on your mobile, then you actually have to click on any of the images to get the detail. And there's your detail right there. This will give them the price for this 10-ounce Royal Mint Britannica. And at the very bottom here, if you send them this link versus the replicated website link, then you will always have your information at the bottom, as well as your join link and the learn more. And when they click learn more, they are going to advance through a series of 12 different videos. So that's what we want them to do while you're sleeping and they're on the other side of the world and they get so excited about this. They're learning about silver. They're learning that we offer the best price on the planet, and they just keep clicking learn more and watching things. You wake up and you see this person's score is over 50 because they're ready to rock and roll. And if you're lucky, they already hit join now and you saw a membership enrollment coming through. So keep in mind, this is really cool. At the I'll tell you a little secret that it's supposed to be in this week. In addition to our coin of the month that you all should be subscribing to and auto collecting because it's phenomenal. In addition to that, they're going to be adding MS70 Britannica that carries 20 points that you can buy manually at any time. So if you cannot commit to a specific day of the month, if your money is more liquid and you need to buy a coin of the month because you haven't been able to enroll someone in the 32-day period, then you can purchase it. And you can just, let's see if it's in here. You can just go into the search bar and type in Britannica. And I'm not going to go through all these, but it will be oh, here we go. It's probably this one, right? Okay, this one's not it. It may not be in here yet, but it's going to be an MS70. It's going to say specialty. It's going to be more than the get ahead. So just know that, like, you're going to have the best deal when you do the get ahead, but it will have the same pricing as the get ahead, and it will be, I don't know, let's say the get ahead is $50 over spot. Maybe this one is $60 over spot. This is going to be put in the store for your convenience to make sure that you stay active. And it's going to be a little bit different. No, this is not it either. But anyway, super exciting. That is coming this week. All right, so let's go back here. And if you have a question, go ahead and type it in the chat box. But again, all you have to do is click on one of these things. Let me open the email. And it's going to give you some sample script to help you think of, what do I want to say to this person? Because a lot of times we don't follow up with people because of that. We don't know what to say. And so if you're seeing something else, like Antoine wrote something on his Facebook page, I implore you to please use AI, even if it's Antoine, anybody, especially if it's sidelines, like they're not your upline. Well, Antoine's your upline in most cases, 99% of the companies under Antoine. But let's say it's a sideline that you see someone else and they wrote something really good. You want to use it. Please don't copy and paste their writing unless it is something that we provided here in the app. Simply, it's so simple. Just go to ChatGPT, paste it in, and instruct AI to please rewrite it enough so I'm not plagiarizing. And then it's going to come out. It's going to be, and you can say, make it really compelling, tie it into my business, add these hashtags, add my link, yada, yada. And once you start working with AI, I go to AI every single day and I tell them to write me something that's compelling, that's clever, that ties in this quote with my business, putting hashtags in. It's amazing. So just consider that. But we're going to give you some information to help you get past that fear of following up. And one last thing I want to say on this point. You do not need to know all the information. You're not here to be the expert. You're not here to be the show. You are here to be the commercial. And so as soon as they have a whole bunch of barrage of questions, do not get thrown off, especially if they're negative. Maybe, well, I saw this on the web. I saw this, and I found this price. It's like, it's not apples to apples. Maybe they don't understand something. So definitely set up a 3-way call with your upline success coaches and let them know, I want you to meet one of the key people in the company. If you're thinking about partnering with us, you need to know who you're going to be doing business with. It's not an ambush. They're not going to twist your arm. They're simply going to answer your questions and help you make an informed decision. All right, so let's look now go back here. Let's see, if you want to raise your hand, I'm going to look through the chat first, but if you want to raise your hand, I could always have you do it. Okay, so far, so Dennis said he sent out the anchor the day the stock market was down. Yeah, very compelling. I mean, utilize these world events without putting too much fear, but having a call to action. It's a fine balance, not to be fear mongering, but at the same time, helping people to go, hey, you are literally just trading out your currency. It's the same thing as if you went to Europe and were having to exchange your currency for their country's currency. You know that you could immediately swap it back if you need to. But while you're there, you would exchange it out. That's all we're saying is, if the dollar is declining and we're seeing the telltale signs around the world of whole bunch of different activity happening. Even if you don't have money, what money you do have, some of it you should be swapping out. You know, all of us have to learn about AI. And, you know, I know that's a controversial subject, but right now it is fantastic. And I do believe that if you get on the bandwagon, start learning about it now, that the gap will be smaller and smaller. If you resisted or wait 5 years, 10 years to start working with AI, then the gap may be too broad for you to jump. That chasm may be just too big. So, but it's fantastic. It really helps me. It helps me think differently when I want to write something. And even if I write something that I think is fantastic, I still run it through AI and say, I want you to make it even more energetic, more compelling, drive them to action. Let's get this done. And then they write it back, and then I can still tweak it. Okay, guys, take a minute now to send out your 3 people that you want to reach out to. Let's go ahead and get that done. Looking through here, remember she said by clicking on the sort, you can look through and choose follow up. So when you choose follow up, it's going to bring people to the top that need to be followed up with. So all of these, because this is a demo account, need to be followed up with. So if you're showing a lot of people, just take some time to do it. We want to finish the week strong. Tomorrow is Saturday, our end of week. So let's cycle. Let's get closer to cycle. Let's rank up. Let's get closer to ranking up. Let's fire up the enrollees that you have. Let's get it done. All right. I do not see anyone's hand raised or anything more in the chat. You guys are making it super easy for me. So thank you so much. This was week 3, all about relationships. I'm sure I'm, confident that what Jen shared with you, you find value in it. This is why it's so important to get on these every Friday, because even if it's that you're in a funk, that you don't want to do this, that you're feeling resistance to following up with people, that maybe you had 3 no's this week and, you're feeling really down in the dumps, please know that when you're with us, we're all on the same team. We're all doing the same thing. And you have to understand that in most cases, it's a no, not right now, not a no. It's just they don't have enough information or they don't have enough time. So as Jen said, make sure that you are adding them to our campaigns. And remember, when it comes to the campaign, if you're going to add them to a campaign, you must let them know under their profile card right here. When you add them to a campaign, you must let them know an email will be coming out. It will be prompted to be sent to them to opt in. And if you don't, if your opt-in rate is low, it's going to go against your statistics. And RapidFunnel is very big on making sure that your statistics are high. If this number starts getting below 20, then your account could get shut down, because that suggests that you're spamming people without permission. So make sure that you're always leading with etiquette, always doing permissions, and getting that first, letting them know it's coming for the opt-in. If they didn't opt in, you can tell if they opted in by going under your campaign and paying attention to how many people that you have active in the campaign. Now, it's not going to give you details of who those people are, so you don't have that. But if you know this week it's been 13 and you sent out 2 email campaign opt-ins, so the final number should be 15, and next week it's still showing 13, then you need to go back and let them know, I'm going to resend this to you. Can you go ahead and opt in? You can unsubscribe at any time. This is just really valuable information about the industry as a whole. So you guys saw that we just put a little banner on some of the bottom ones. So just subtle, but enough for them to remember us, that we are in the forefront of their mind. Okay, everyone. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us for this Funnel Friday. Week 4 is next week. We do it every week, and we have our own dedicated training executive from RapidFunnel to be here with us. So please, if you find value in this, share it with your teams, get them inspired. I'm telling you, it's going to work in your favor. So until next week, let me go ahead and close this out. Until next week, let's finish strong. Have a great end of your week, and I will see you next Friday.